Okay. So he said that must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The cabinet mission, but the Constituent Assembly was framed on the recommendation of the cabinet mission that we have already had a discussion on that. Cabinet mission was a high-powered commission which came to India in March 1946 and submitted its plan on May 16, 1946. That is written also. And it arrived in India in March 24, 1946. So the members were Honorable Lord Pratik Lawrence, Stafford Cripps and A.B. Alexander. They proposed a Constituent Assembly of India and on the basis of the recommendation of the Constituent Assembly was framed. On the basis of the recommendation of the Cabinet Mission, the Constituent Assembly for Undivided India was framed. So what do you mean by a Constituent Assembly? As you can see on the screen, I have already explained an assembly of people who are engaged in making a constitution of India. That is a Constituent Assembly. The Cabinet Mission recommended for a single Constituent Assembly for United India. It was not in favor of partition probably. And as per the recommendation of the Cabinet Mission, the total strength of the Constituent Assembly was to be 389. So 389 will be divided into 296 for British India provinces. For British India, that means the part of India which was directly ruled by British, and another is princely states. So the 93 will be from the princely states and 296 further divided 292 governors provinces, that was 11 in number at that time, and then 4 from commissionerate provinces. So that I have already mentioned the governors provinces: Madras 1, Bombay 2, UP 3, Bihar 4, Central provinces 5, Odisha 6, Punjab 7, Northwestern Frontier Province 8, Sindh 9, Bengal 10, and Assam 11. Out of them, we are 292 members were to be there from the British India and 4 from Chief Commissioner's Province, that is Delhi, Ajmer, Mewar, Coorg and British Balochistan. One each from the princely states. Okay, and 14 members, 292 members were from British India governors provinces. Okay, and if you provide, that is, if you look at the area, that is seats that are confined to different 11 states. For example, Madras was 49 seats, Bombay 21 seats, West Bengal 19 seats, and the United Province with 55 seats, highest number of seats. Bengal and your UP, Bombay, then Central Province, Bihar, then Assam. Assam had 8 members. Orissa, 9 members. Okay, 9 members. Central Province and Brer, Central Province, it had 17 members. Bihar had 36 members. 9. Then your party wise. These are the list. Other list are not provided. Okay. So these are the major lists. Sindh. Okay. Then princely states has 93 members, and the process modus operandi, the mode of entry of the members, that is members from members from British India, members from British India were directly, indirectly elected by the people, not directly by the people because there was no arrangement of election at that time. It was not feasible probably. So they were indirectly elected by people. They were elected by members of the provincial legislative assemblies. Provincial legislative assemblies. Okay? And members from princely states were nominated by the rulers of the states. They were nominated. So we can say the members of assembly were both elected and nominated. Okay, that is the most important thing you have to remember. The election to the assembly Election to the Constituent Assembly was July and August 1946. Party-wise, party-wise performance out of 296 seats, uh, party-wise performance the seats. Congress had most number of seats, 208. Muslim League, 73, and other parties like Unionist Party, 1, Unionist Muslim, 1, United, Unionist, Scheduled Castes, 1, Krishak Praja Party, Krishak Praja Party, 1, Scheduled Caste Federation, SC Federation, that is also 1, Sikh, non-Congress Jula Sikh, 6, 1, Communist Party, 1, Independence. Eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For 15, 73, 73, 5, 8, 88 to 96. So this is the list of 296 members. So it was an indirect election. They were elected by the members of the provincial assemblies, as we have Vidhan Sabha today, on the basis of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Okay? Now we shall go to the religious community-wise representation. What is the community-wise representation in assembly? In the Constituent Assembly. Hindus 163, Muslims 80, scheduled caste 31, Indian Christians 6, backward tribes 6, Sikh 4, Anglo-Indian 3, Parsis 3. So 3, 1, 4, 10, 16, 20, 26, 6, 2, 3, 5, 5 at 13, 13, 6, 9, 1 plus 1, 2. Okay, now that is the list of the Constituent Assembly, and election was held, and a date was set, that is 9 December 1946, the first meeting. The Constituent Assembly had total 11 sessions, and each session carried on for several days together, and we can list the several books also provide the list. The sessions, we can light the sessions in the Constituent Assembly. Just have a brief idea about it. First session, that is December 9 to December 23, 1946. Second session, January 20 to 25, 1947. Third session, April 8, 28. to May 2, 1947. Fourth session, May 2, the fourth session, January 14 to 31, 19, July 14 to 31, 1947. Then fifth session, August 14 to 30, 1947. Sixth session, January 27, 1948, one day probably. January 27, 1940, 48. Eighth session, seventh session, November 4 to January, November 4, 1948 to January 8, 1949. Probably the longest session, I think. Eighth session, May 16 to June, May 16 to June 16, 1949. Ninth session, July 30 to September 30, July 30 to September 18, 1949. 10th session, October 6 to 17, 1949. And 11th session, November 14 to 26, 1949. The 26th, the last day. On this day, the Constitution was adopted. So, it had 11 sessions and total time taken is probably 2 years, 11 months, 18 days to complete the Constitution. Total time taken. And on the first day, the meeting was attended by 211 members because the Muslim League protested or not agreed to join the assembly as they had been demanding separate Pakistan, and princely state declined to join the Constituent Assembly initially. Later they joined and they became a part. On the first day, that is 9 December, 9 December, Dr. Sachidananda Sinha became the temporary president of Constituent Assembly for one day. And later on 11 December 1946, Rajendra Prasad was appointed as the president and S.C. Mukherjee as the vice president. B.N. Rao was constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly. and it had its 11 sessions total, I told you. Okay. Okay. Another vice president was also VT Krishnamachari. VT VT Krishnamachari also appointed as the elected as the vice president, elected as vice president of the assembly. In other words, the assembly had two vice presidents. One is S. Mukherjee, another is VT Krishnamachari. But the modus operandi of the Constituent Assembly was deliberation and consensus. Deliberation and consensus. Each provision was deliberated upon. All the members were given equal rights and right to discuss, right to debate, right to means protest or right to go against the provision. Anything they could do, and later at the end of the discussion, the provision was put to vote, and if it gets majority vote, then it would be a part of the constitution. So it was not a, you can say it is not a force, or it was not an undemocratic body, it was a democratic body, and it carried on its proceedings in a democratic manner. Okay, and the assembly had its set up on 13 December 1946. The famous objective resolution was moved in the assembly. Probably I have written it. Okay, on 13 December 1946, objective resolution, objective resolution drafted by Nehru, by J. Nehru, was moved in the Constituent and this objective resolution carried the fundamentals and philosophy of the constitutional structure. You can say that the tone and temper of the present constitution is invariably related to the objective resolution. Okay, there are many provisions in the objective resolution for the future constitution. The resolution was unanimously adopted by the assembly, probably in the second session, that is on 22nd January 1947. It was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. That's all. Okay, and the assembly carried on. We shall see now what changes happened in the Constituent Assembly after 15th August 1947. The Constituent Assembly was set up in 1946. That was under British, when India was under British government. But after 15th August 1947, there was a changeover took place in the Constituent Assembly as India got independence. So first of all, the Constituent Assembly became a sovereign body. It means it became independent body because India got independence. Now, the Constituent Assembly is no more under the British government. Another change that took place in the post 1947 was the dual role of the assembly. First, the assembly Constituent Assembly. Second, the assembly functioned as a provisional parliament. Of undivided India. So when it was functioned as a constituent assembly, the chairperson was Rajendra Prasad. He was the permanent president. And when the provisional parliament acted as a provisional parliament, it was chaired by Mr. G.V. Mavalankar, the first Speaker of Lok Sabha. So G.V. Mavalankar presided over the assembly when it acted as the provisional parliament of independent India. It acted as a that is not undivided India, it is independent India. Sorry, because British Parliament lost its sovereignty over India, so now somebody had to act as a parliament before the election, general election. Hence, the assembly performed the role, and it is called dual role of the government. You got it? The dual role refers to the role of the assembly as a constituent assembly and the role of the assembly as the provisional parliament of independent India in the absence of regular parliament. Another notable change took place that is visible change, that is strength was reduced to 299 instead of 296 but to 389 because of the partition. That was the change, so 229 from British India and 70 from princely states. 229 from British India. And 70 for princely states. अजून अजून हां ठीक आहे ठीक 201984 good. हाँ 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 okay, so that is British India and 70 from princely states. In this way, the Constituent Assembly functioned for about 2 years, 3 years. That is exactly 2 years, 11 months, 18 days. And the Constitution was prepared. There were several committees were constituted also. There are several committees were constituted, and the committees executed the Herculean task of making or completing the Constitution. One of the prominent committees was drafting committee. We shall discuss that. But let's remember two things. One is the Constitution was adopted on 26 November 1949. On this day, the Constitution was adopted, not effected, but certain provisions like Parliament, election, provisions like Parliament, election, and citizenship came into active or activated. And this 26th day of November is observed as National Constitutional Day. National Constitution Day. Constitution was effected on 26 January 1950 as the Republic Day of India. The whole Constitution came into being. Okay? And 26 January 1950 is observed as the commencement of the Constitution or the Republic Day of India in order to commemorate the 26 January 1930 day on which day the uh, Congress, Indian National Congress declared Purna Swaraj or complete independence after the Lahore session. So to remember the day, 26 January is set as the Republic Day of India. We observe this day as Republic Day every year. Okay. So guys, these are the full brief account of your constitutional making of the Constitution. Before going to take up the issue of committees, let us see what were the other functions that were carried on by the Constituent Assembly apart from making the Constitution. Other functions, in addition to the making of the Constitution and enactment of the Constitution, The Constituent Assembly also performed various functions in the interest of India. It adopted national flag on 22nd July 1947. This flag was designed by Pingali Venkaya and three-color flag comprising of saffron, green and white with Ashok Chakra placed in the middle, and this is the national flag of India. This flag was adopted as the national flag on 22nd July 1947 by the Assembly. The national anthem Janagana Mana Sang Janagana Man Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidata on 24th January 1950. It was drafted, composed by Rabindranath Tagore as a few idea, and the first stanza of the entire song is adopted as the national anthem, not the entire stanza. And there are certain provisions to regulate for the regulation of the playing of national anthem. The playing time is fixed at 52 seconds. 52 seconds playing time. So that is the things. Then 52 seconds. The national anthem was adopted, that is Vande Mataram. That is also 24th January. And 24th January, on this day also, Rajendra Prasad was unanimously declared as the President of the Republic of India, and he became the first President of Indian Republic. And 24th January 1940, 24th January 1950 became the last working day of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so these are the other functions of the assembly. And also another factor that India ratified its membership on in the Commonwealth and that is May, not exact days there, May 1949. If you are aware about Commonwealth, you can see that Commonwealth is an association of British ruled countries. So whenever any country, any colony got independence, British gave them option either to remain in the Commonwealth or uh, to be detached from it or to not to be a member of it. That is solely on the members. So India agreed to be a member of Commonwealth in 1949 May after independence. Okay. Now we shall go to the committees. Okay. Another thing before going to committee, at the time of adoption and commencement, you can say, there were 395 articles, 8 schedules, so these were the number. Now this has increased. We shall discuss that. Now we shall come to the committee. See, committees were appointed just to facilitate the business of the assembly because it was very difficult for the patient to carry on. The Congress Party for the purpose of preparing material for Constitutional Assembly. Okay, so they were there to facilitate the work. There are major committees tasked of facilitating deal with the different tasks of constitution making. One of these 8 were major committees and others were minor committees. So major committees 8 were others, minor 8 committees are major committees, and the okay, just a minute. So there are 8 committees. That was 8 committees and 8 committees is given in the list. Union Power Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru Union Constitution Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru Provincial Constitutional Committee, Drafting Committee, B.R. Ambedkar Steering Committee, Steering Committee, States Committee, this is number 5, 6. These were the chairman. Kindly remember the names. Committee on Rules and Procedures. That Rajendra Prasad also a major committee. Okay. And another major committee was Committee on Fundamental Rights. That is a major committee. And Rules and Procedure Committee. Rules and Procedure Committee. Committee on Rules and Rajendra Prasad. Yes. Then others were there. Finance Staff Committee, Credential Committee, House Committee, Order of Business Committee headed by K. Munshi, Minor Subcommittee S. U. Mukherjee, Ad hoc Committee on National Flag, that is important also. Ad hoc Committee, Temporary Committee. Fundamental Rights Subcommittee, J.B. Kripalani, that is Gopinath Bardoli, A.B. Thakur. Number of committees were there to deal with the different tasks, variety of tasks of making the constitution. So as you can see, but the major committee was drafting committee. Let us have a brief idea about drafting committee. Drafting committee was an important committee of the Constituent Assembly because it was given the task of drafting the constitution. It was constituted on 29 August 1947 and there were 7 members including the chairman. There were 7 members including the chairman. The other member are N. Gopalasamy Iyengar, Alladi Krishnasamy Iyer, K. Munshi 3, Syed Muhammad Sadullah 4, N. Madhav Rao 5, D.P. Khaitan 6. So there are 6-member committee. And the committee had submitted 2 drafts finally. And the drafting committee took for 141 days to complete the constitution. It took less than 6 months to prepare its drafts. The first draft of the constitution was prepared. Okay, and in this way the members submitted its final draft. And the second draft, okay, the final draft was November 15 and discussed and debated. So in this way, the role of the Constituent Assembly was quite significant because it had the responsibility, that means a very critical responsibility to shoulder as it was going to prepare a constitution for a country of India's size and diversity. So they had much homework, much rehearsal before the making the constitution, and for this reason why the constitution has survived many ups and downs in the country. But there is still the faith of the people in the constitution lies. We are not against constitution at all. Okay. Okay. Then criticism of the constituent body. Critically examine. First of all, constituent body assembly was criticized as a uh, unrepresentative body. Because the critics label it as an unrepresentative body because it was not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of adult franchise. It was not a sovereign body. That means as it was created by British government or proposal of the British government. Okay, and hence they called it a sovereign body, but it later became a sovereign body. The time consuming. It took lot of years according to the critics. Consuming. Dominance of Congress. Dominant of Congress. Lawyers paradise was it because large number of lawyers were lawyers paradise. Dominant person lawyers paradise. Okay. Then another is dominance of Hindus. These are the provided, prescribed, you can say, drawbacks of the constitution. But despite these drawbacks, because these drawbacks were temporarily collect, if you consider the time when the Constituent Assembly was made or was established, it was not a propitious time for conducting election and all these things. And it became a sovereign body just after the independence. It was time consuming, so to say, but they required a lot of time because they wanted to fit those provisions into the constitution which would be futuristic in nature, which should survive in future. Hence, they took much time. But it is in Canada there are 2 years 6 months. In that is 2 years 6 months probably. Somewhere I have written seen yes. Canadian Constitution 2 year 11 months and Australian Constitution took about 9 years and USA Constitution less than 4 months. But Indian Constitution took 2 years, 11 months, 2 days, 18 days, 18 days. Alright. So this is all about your then not a sovereign body as I told you it was a sovereign body after 15th August 1946. It's not time consuming. It dominance of Congress. Obviously Congress was a leading party and at the forefront of the freedom struggle. So it got overwhelming support from the public in the assembly. So it is not correct to label that it was dominance of Congress. Obviously, most of the people of India having faith in that. Lawyers' paradise because number of lawyers were there. There were as many as 50, more than 50 to 60 member lawyers. So it was called a lawyers' paradise because lawyers had their different opinions and there was a hot debate and discussion went on. Dominance of Hindus, obviously we have seen there are about 163 Hindu members were there because Hinduized country, in the Hindu majority country, obviously there might be some Hindus also. So it is not correct to label the assembly as a Hinduized body. It is not at all that. It is not at all that. It is not a Hinduized body. It is a widely representative body. It had its own. It had members from nook and corner of the country. There were 15 women members, as it is said, in the assembly, and the assembly gave wider representation to different categories at best possible at that point of time. At best that possible at that point of time. Okay. So guys, this is the end discussion, final or end discussion of your on your chapter making of the constitution. We have discussed it at length. Kindly go through the class of the subject matter again and try to remember some basic things. Okay. Now we shall come to the questions. Some easy questions are there on the making of the constitution. Then we shall move to the preamble of the constitution. Okay, please proceed. So the idea of the constitution was first given by M.N. Roy, which of the following statement is incorrect? The Constituent Assembly was a fully elected body. That is not correct to say because it was partly elected and partly nominated. It was composed of both elected and yes. So only two will be correct. Next, we shall go to the next question. Next question. How many members did Odisha have in the Constituent Assembly? 9 members. Remember, one member was from a woman. It is Malati Devi Chaudhary. Okay. The original strength of the Constituent Assembly was 389. Indian national flag was adopted on 22nd July 1947. Indian Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950 C. Okay, and I told you the region also. Time taken to complete the Indian Constitution was 2 year 11 months 18 days. Even the following pairs of persons were not the members of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so prominently there were two members, M.K. Gandhi and M.A. Jinnah. They did not participate. A. Okay, next. How many schedules were there at the time of adoption of the constitution? We have already noted there were 8 schedules in the Indian constitution. We shall discuss a lot of discussion on the schedules also. 10 objective resolution was passed by the Constitutional Assembly on 22nd January 1947. It was moved on 13 December 1946. Okay, kindly remember the date also. Match the following: Union power, adoption of preamble, adoption of national anthem. Sorry, 11. Union Power Committee, Steering Committee, Drafting Committee, Advisory Committee, and Fundamental Rights. Okay, can you match? First, guess the answer. I will tell you. Okay, okay, I'm doing it. Union Power Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru. Steering Committee, Rajendra Prasad. Drafting Committee, B.R. Ambedkar. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess the answer. Adoption of preamble. Preamble means the objective resolution that was later known as preamble. Adoption of national anthem. Objective resolution moved by setting up drafting committee. So 3, 2, 1, 4. 3, 2, 1, 4. Yes, B. What will be the answer? Okay, in the past meeting of the Constituent Assembly, the members were attended by 211. Total expenditure spent in making it out estimate of that's correct also. Constituent Assembly was partly elected, partly nominated. The Constituent Assembly held its final meeting on 24th January, that is 26th January. So answer D. Among the following was the Constitutional Advisor B.N. Rao. How many members signed the Constitution on the date of adoption? 284. Who chaired the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights in the Constituent Assembly? Sardar Patel. Which of the following had largest number of seats in the CA? That is United Province. Please go through the questions. Okay, so who was the member, the chairman of the drafting committee? That all of you know. The Constituent Assembly finally met on 24 January 1950. The members of the Constituent Assembly were both elected and nominated. C. So this is the answer. Very easy questions. Okay. Okay. Now we shall go to the next question. Who among the following were the members of drafting committee? So K. Munshi was there, Alladi Krishnasamy was there, Jawaharlal Nehru not there, Gopal Iyengar was there. 1, 2, 4. So B. Okay. Okay. Match the list with one or two and select the correct answer. Select the correct answer. Okay. You must have done the answer. So let's check. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the answer. Is your answer correct? D. Question number 23. The national flag was adopted on 22nd January 1947. It was designed by Pingali Venkaya. Okay, all are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. National anthem was adopted on 24 January 1950. With the first stanza of the Janagana Mana has been adopted. The playing time 52 seconds. Yes, it is regulated on National Honor Act. It's the provisions how to sing, how to recite how to play the national anthem and what is the duration. All these things are regulated. How it should be observed. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the answer. Okay. Which of the following is incorrect? The Constitution of India adopted on 26 November 1949, hence the day is observed as National Constitution Day, is finally signed. Yes. 24. Yes. All the above are correct. D. So, boy, we have completed this part, making of the Constitution. So, we'll now start the next chapter, that is preamble to the Indian Constitution, and also the parts and you can say the okay. So parts and schedules and preamble. First of all, we have to go to the parts and schedules. First of all, we shall discuss the schedules. Then, if possible, we shall discuss parts. Then we shall proceed to the preamble. Schedules of Indian Constitution. Schedules are the mere list of the Constitution. You can say, with the mere list of the Constitution. It gives idea about the entire contents, important contents of the Constitution, and hence their schedules. Originally, there were 8 schedules to the Indian Constitution, but at present, there are 12 schedules. I mean, 4 schedules were added later. 4 schedules were added later. Okay. 4 schedules were added later. And the first schedules first schedules that is names of states and the union territories of India, all the states' name and the names of the union territories are inscribed on it. And with regards to whenever any state is found, whenever any state is established in India, the first schedule is amended. So that is there. Then second schedule, salaries and allowances of different highest dignitaries. We shall list the whose salary are mentioned in the second schedule. Number one, the salaries of President of India. Number two, governors of states. Number three, Speaker of Lok Sabha. Number four, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. Number five, Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Number six, Deputy Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Number seven, Judges of High Courts. Number eight, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So kindly remember, so do remember these salaries are mentioned and these are charged expenditure upon the Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. Number 3, third schedule. Third schedule, there is oaths or affirmations to be taken. For union ministers, including Prime Minister, number 2, MPs, members of parliament, number 3, judges of the Supreme Court, number 4, CAG, number 5, state ministers, number 6, MLAs, members of Legislative Assembly and members of Legislative Councils, number 8, 7, the judges of high courts, number 8, candidates for election to parliament, and state legislature. Those who contest, those who will contest, they will also take oath before being elected. So that is also a kind of oath. And number 7, the judges of High Court. Number 7, the judges of High Court. So these are the third schedule contents, oaths or affirmation of the ministers. It deals with several articles, 75, 84, 99, 124. There are various articles, that is 74, 75, 75, and 84, 99, 124, 146, 173, state legislature, 188, 219. These are the articles related to it. Okay, now the fourth schedule. It is allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha. You'll find the number of states having have seats in Rajya Sabha. By representation, you can say better. And so far, three union territories have representation in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so that is only three states. Okay, so only union territory means J and K, Delhi, NCT of Delhi, and Puducherry. Or because they have legislative assemblies. Okay, so that is the things we have our time completed. We shall be continuing our discussion from fifth schedule in the next class. Okay, continue to watch us to hone your talent, hone your preparation, and to get updated and give your constructive comments if possible how to update this type of classes. This is a unique endeavor of Manik, the mega institution, which compromises or which leaves no stone unturned to realize your dreams. Okay, so stay tuned to our YouTube classes. We shall be coming to you with different types updated and enlarged classes to meet your needs and aspirations. Stay tuned to us. Thank you very much for being with us for a long time. Okay, have a good day.